Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you, Mr. Nolan, for the opportunity. I'm very humbled by being up here. You know what I mean? There's, Miss Bartell, Miss Tober, you guys are doing such an amazing job, and I look up to you guys. So I'm very humbled to be up here and to share some information that's helped me out. Is that okay with you guys?
Yes!
All right. Well, I got started in this industry about, 10 years ago. I was on and off for 10 years. I started working hard. And, like everybody else, I had, a hard time. But I stayed focused, and one way or another, it led me to Mr. Nolan. When I came to Mr. Nolan, I had some success in the industry, but I knew I wanted to get started with a coffee company. So the quick story is, I looked at everything that was out there, and I made the decision to get started here. Okay?
Woo!
So when I got started here, I said, Mr. Nolan, I'm very serious about this. I want to break records. I want to go out there and make it happen. I understand it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
So he wanted me to talk about work ethic, and that's something that when I'm passionate about something, I have no problem working hard. And can anybody relate?
Yes.
See, when I was a kid, I was always told by certain people, man, you're lazy. I was like, no, it's not that I'm lazy. I just don't like what you're telling me to do. Give me something to be passionate about, and I guarantee you. So when I got started in martial arts, I went to the karate school and the kickboxing gym and the boxing gym a lot more than I did to school, because I was passionate about that, and I won a world title in kickboxing. Why? Because I was passionate about what I was doing. So I knew that where I was at before, I wasn't passionate about their product, but I was passionate about coffee. I said, I'm a coffee drinker. My mother's a coffee drinker. 8 out of 10 people are coffee drinkers. I can passionately work this. So when I got started working here, and I got a couple notes here, by the way, I made a decision, and I knew that if I was going to work with Mr. Nolan, the tempo had to be, high, right? And it was a high calling. I said, wow, it was a little intimidating, but I was up for the challenge. So the first thing that I like, for those of you that are taking notes, which everybody should, with Mr. Nolan, giving this training, is finish your day before you start it. Finish your day before you start it. You should know where you're going to be the next day, at what time, at what place, and who you're going to be meeting with. You know what I mean? You need to finish the day before you start it, and know by the time tomorrow comes at night and I'm done with this, I'm going to be satisfied. I'm going to deserve to sleep that night. See, to me, it was a privilege to rest at night based on what I did that day. And I said, and I'm going to share some information with you. I had my own place, and I left a pretty decent income where I was. I was a number 2 in another company. So I left that income. I left my place. I moved into my mother's house, which I haven't done since I was 19 years old, to sleep on her couch in her living room, because I said it's going to be worth it. My mom would tell me, I feel bad, son, that you have to sleep in the living room. I said, Mom, as long as I have a place to rest, to shower, and to eat in the morning, and then come back at night when you're asleep, that's all I need. Why? Because I got a dream. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I knew I had to get outside of my comfort zone. So my point was, listen, I'm going to do 5 to 7 minimum presentations a day. Whether that be one-on-ones, whether that be CJMs, whatever the case may be. And I was driving all over town, meeting with people, but I would not get home. If it was like 10 p.m. and I had 5 presentations, I said, no, I set 7 today. I'd be making some phone calls. There's a gentleman here. His name is Wences Navarre. He's in the back. Good friend of mine. I met him at a day's, what was it, like at 12 midnight? At 12 midnight. And I said, listen, Wences, here's the deal. I'm going to put a couple hundred people in this deal in the next 30 to 45 days. And I'm going to do it with or without you. But I'd rather do it with you than without you. It wasn't his time, but until about 30 days later, right, something like that, 30 to 40 days later, he ended up getting started because we got together again. I showed him my back office and said, I'm not playing, bro. You know what I mean? But see, Ms. Mona talked earlier about act as if. Is that right?
Yes.
See, I acted as if I was already making $100,000 a month. You would think if you saw me, man, this guy must be making a lot of money. You know what I mean? And my first week's check was pretty good. Why? Because my first month I went out there and I personally sponsored right around 20 or 21 directs. Okay? Why? Because I was hungry. So my goal was, listen, I'm going to sponsor at least 20 personals and help them get Q2 qualified at the very minimum. So that was my goal. So I ended up the first month with over 100 distributors in my organization because I led by example. But see, then I have people that try to give me a hard time about getting Q2 qualified. I said, listen, If it takes you, let's say for instance, a week to get your 2, it's going to take your people a week to get their 2. And it's going to take their people a week to get their 2. And it's going to take their people a week to get their 2. Then you're going to have a weak team. Is that what you want? Who wants a weak team? Anybody want a weak team?
No.
What do you want? A strong team, is that right?
Right.
So if you set the bar like that, and how do I set the bar? When I say, listen, write this number down, 710. Write that number down, 710. The 7 stands for days. In your first 7 days, you need to sit me down in front of 10 prospects. We need to show the plan to 10 prospects. Whether that be you take 2 or 3 prospects to a CJM, okay, that's, 3 of your 10, and then the rest could be one-on-ones. I don't care, but you need to sit me down in front of 10 prospects. And what I found out is that even if people don't hit the 10, they'll still do a lot more than they would had you not put the 7-10 challenge on. See, most people are not even going to do 5 their first week. I don't care how motivated they are. So if you put the 7-10, you set the bar high. And especially if you led by example and you got your 2 in the first week, you could easily tell them, hey, listen, you got to get your 2. You got to make it seem like it's the easiest thing in the world. But let them know that you got their back. Let them know, here's the deal. We're back to back. I got that from Miss Nolan, right? I said, we're back to back. So what we need to do is set me up, with appointments, and let's go out and meet with these people. Because there's no way, if you follow the system, that you're going to sit down with 10 people and not get that person Q2 qualified. Can we agree?
Yes.
So if everybody has engraved in their head, 10 people, 10 people, 10 people, then it gets to the point where it's like day 5 and they've exposed 2 people, you're like, hey, listen, the next day or 2, Saturday and Sunday, I'm going to dedicate to you. Because we got to meet with 8 people and show them the plan. So I want to let you know, I'm going to clear my schedule just to meet with you. I'm going to even take time away from my other distributors because we got to get you Q2 qualified. Then I put pressure on them. Does that make sense? But see, when I barely got started, especially when they're directs, every direct of mine, I say, listen, I want you to answer me one question. On a scale of 1 to 3, 1 being minimum and 3 being maximum, how do you want me to push you? 3 meaning I'm going to get you outside of your comfort zone. I'm going to push you and I'm going to keep you very accountable to what you are telling me. Most people will tell you 3, some people will go and say 5, oh 5. And then later on, it's like they're not answering your phone calls. You know what I mean? So listen, whatever it is you tell me, by the way, let's say I'm talking to Sam, you let me know what it is, I'd rather you tell me a 1 and stick to a 1 than tell me a 3 and go down to a 2. Tell me what because I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. So when I say I got your back and we're going to go in the trenches together, that's exactly what we're going to do. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So 3 questions every single night that I got home that I would ask myself. And these are 3 questions I lived by for many, many years. The first question is this. Do I deserve to sleep tonight? Did I earn my sleep, my rest tonight? If your answer is yes, you can check that one off. The second question is, if my team did what I did today, how much closer to our goals would we be? If my team did what I did today, how much closer to our goals will we be? Is that powerful to you guys?
Yes.
Because imagine if you got a bunch of your people, especially your personals, they're duplicating that, and there's a business of duplication. Does that make sense? Okay. And then the last question is, would I want to be sponsored by me? That's a tough one. See, you can lie to your sponsor, but when you look in the mirror, you can't lie to that person in the mirror. You know, it's either yes or a no. You can tell your sponsor, yeah, I'm a good sponsor, man. I call my team. You know that you call your team. And it's okay, we've all made mistakes. But if you can answer yes to these questions, I guarantee you're going to start seeing some duplication. You're going to start seeing some growth. When you start putting it out there and letting your people know that you got their back even more than they got their own, that you want them to be successful more than they want to be successful, they start feeling it because it's coming from your heart. But when you're out there leading by example, and here's the deal, if you're leading by example, your results will show. My goal is to sponsor between 10 and 15 people this month. I've already got 3 before the summer. And 2 of them are here. Lakeisha and Ivan. Okay? Why? Because I said, hey, listen, if it slowed down in December a little bit, that doesn't matter. If I want to be successful, it's up to me with or without anybody. So I'm going to work with the people that want to make it happen, that really have goals that they want to hit. And I'm going to go out and personally sponsor a bunch of people because I believe in my mind I can recruit at will if I want. So I believe it, so I attract it. I let people know I'm going to attract some powerhouse people. I don't know where they're coming from. We might not even know each other yet, but I'm going to attract them. So I talk to my team and say, listen, how many phone calls are you making on a daily basis? My first month especially, because I wasn't doing as many CJs or one-on-ones because I didn't have a team, I was probably making an average of 40 to 60 calls a day in addition to my 5 to 7 presentations. Now tell me, let's compare phone bills. Because I am serious that this is going to happen. See, somebody's going to go out there and take this company and make 6 figures a month. Somebody's going to be the first to get there. I want it to not mean somebody in my organization. And that's an attitude that I believe we all should have. To go out there and make it happen. Somebody says, they mentioned something to me that somebody that's thinking small money thinks. I said, do you think Mr. Nolan will come up with that concern? See, because you're putting yourself in the shoes of somebody that's never going to hit it big. That's why you're coming up with that concern. And I gave him some exampple. He said, oh, you know what, you're absolutely right. I was like, yeah, because see, that just let me know that your mind isn't on making millions. Your mind is set on making a couple thousand. Because if you saw it that other way, so it all depends on how you see it. So, as far as work ethic, you know what I mean, I'm just, in a situation where obviously it's important, but it's about being consistent, right? And who's heard this? An apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Yes.
It's an apple a day that keeps the doctor away, not 7 apples on Sunday. Is that right? Right? What if you go to the gym on Sunday for 7 hours? Is that going to work? No, right? You got to be consistent. It takes discipline. The most disciplined person that I've ever met in my life is my mentor, Mr. Nolan. So to me, I don't compare myself to anybody other than him. And believe me, I understand that's tough. But see, I'm like, man, if I'm shooting to be like my mentor, where am I going to be? Even if I come a little short. But see, I used to compare myself with just another distributor in other companies that I was working with. And that's why I never broke through. So I said, I see how he works. I mean, I call him at all times, late at night, early in the morning. He's always working. Because he's on a mission. I'm like, man, must be that ghetto therapy he's been taking, right? So now I consume it, and man, I don't go anywhere without that thing. So something that's been helping me out. And when I start talking about this, okay, and I'm almost done. I got a couple minutes. When I start talking about this, I want to throw a disclaimer. What I want to talk about next is social media. But see, that is not to be confused with veering away from the way you've been building your business. This is in addition to, I was taught a long time ago, there's a couple different activities. There's A activity, B activity, C activity. When I talk about social media, to me that's C activity. That's the least important activity. That's stuff that I do like after 10:30 at night, after 11 p.m. at night, when I can't be prospecting somebody, or doing a CJM, or doing a 3-way call. Does that make sense, guys? Putting somebody in a signal call. See, all that is A activity. That's money-making activity. MMA, like the sport MMA, but this is money-making activity. Okay? So, C activity is like what I do at night. I don't know if any of you know, I do some YouTube videos. Anybody seen those videos?
Yeah.
Okay, so I do some YouTube videos. That's in addition to everything I do. But I'm able to recruit between 3 and 4 people a month off of internet marketing. But Ms. Nolan talked earlier about doing some Facebook training. Okay? And what she was saying, I saw a lot of those things. And what a lot of people do, they get excited, they go out and advertise, to everybody, just talking, just soliciting, and it's about building relationships. If you go out there and you meet somebody and you get their business card, you better find them on Facebook. See, I've got a personal and I've got a business profile. I always add everybody on Facebook. Because even if they're not interested in my business now, I'm constantly they're at least keeping in touch with me. And they're looking at your page. They're looking at your posts.
They are.
So, what do people, if you're trying to recruit and build your business through Facebook, what does your wall say about you? What kind of quotes and things do you talk about? Do you look like a professional? Because you're representing SereniGy. What does your profile picture say? Is it you having a good time with your friends partying it up somewhere? Or is it has anybody seen Mr. Nolan's picture? Look sharp?
Yes.
Right? See, what does that say? You know what I mean? Respect. He's a professional. So when you see things like that, what are they doing? And let me tell you something. The delete button is your friend. And here's the deal, guys. The people on your friends list don't know when you deleted them. They don't get a message. They don't get a notification. But I've got people that are negative sometimes, right? That sometimes post something negative on some of my comments. I delete them. There's no room for that. There's no time for that. So when I post, like I put stories. I put quotes. I put my videos. And when I'm doing this thing, it's not all to solicit. I'll advertise my company. But mainly if I'm building relationships and I'm giving them value, like I give stories. A quick story that I wrote a blog. The notes, you could write a note, which is equivalent to like a blog on Facebook. So I wrote a note, called Good Wolf, Bad Wolf. Okay?
That's so good.
You guys read it? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Right? It's about I'm going to go by it real fast. A grandfather that tells his grandson that he's got two wolves always fighting inside of him. One is good, one is evil. The evil has all the characteristics of evil. Anger, hatred, resentment, all this other stuff. The good one has love, compassion, all the things that go with love. So the grandson asked him, who will win, grandfather? The grandfather says, the one I feed. See, and on that profile, it's a dedicated Facebook profile to professionals, to network marketers. So on the search tab, I put company names, company owner names. You think they're probably friends with a lot of the distributors there? Believe me, the people from our competition, I add them all the time. Because what I'm doing is I'm building a relationship with them. So I give value of content and they get to know you because you are branding yourself.
Right.
Now I'm not saying you're going to go out and create a logo with your name and picture. No, you're branding yourself as to how people get to know you. Do people think you're an expert? And here's the deal, guys. You don't have to be an expert. You could be a copycat. Write this down. It's okay to be a copycat as long as you copy the right cat. Right? In school they called it copy. And this looks like a negative thing. In business, I found out that they call it networking and masterminding. See, I copy everything Mr. Nolan says. I write down his jokes. When I'm doing CJF, I say his jokes. I tried month after month. Didn't come out as good as his, but it's a start, right? He's got some incredible charisma, you know what I mean? He's more handsome than I am, you know what I mean? So, but it doesn't matter though, because I know that that's the right person, the right cat. So okay to be a copycat, but who are you copying? That's a good thing. So see, if you got to go on Google and read up some stories, see activity after you're done with your CJFs. Don't make a mistake and be on Facebook when you could be delivering some product, selling some product, retailing and recruiting. Do not do that. That is death to your business. This is in addition to. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
That's one thing that every time I teach people on these things, and they see that I constantly recruit, I let them know this is in addition to everything else that we've been talking about. But this is a C activity, meaning it's not a priority. This is your priorities, the CJMs and everything else. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
So who's on Facebook here? Okay, good. So when I'm doing my internet marketing with my videos, you'll see it'll have my Facebook profile. It'll have my Twitter profile. My Facebook and my Twitter have my YouTube profile. So everything leads to everything. Does that make sense? Yeah. Because see, there's a lot of people that if they see your video, if they read your blog or something like that, they don't really want to call you and get pitched, yet they want more information. So most people are on Facebook, and if they're online looking at your videos, chances are they're on Facebook. So if they got your Facebook link, guess what they're going to do? They're going to go and add you on Facebook, just to read up on you, just to get to know you a little bit without you knowing. But see, my website, I use the Coffee System website. Because it shows them a video, and it's all in your back office. It shows them a video that piques their interest. Then after it piques their interest, for more information, it says, fill out your information, which is their name, email address, phone number, right? Then it catches that link, sends it to you in an email. So what could you do? You give them a call. Because most people, even if they're interested, very few people will take the initiative to give you a call and say, hey, I want more information. Because they don't want to be pitched. But see, when they see the video, this sounds good. They put their info, then they go to your regular website, but that caught their lead and you can give them a call. I do that all the time. Lakeisha's right here. Lakeisha, raise your hand. That's exactly how she got started. She saw some of my videos, she went on my page, she put her info, I gave her a call, she had already added me on Facebook. Then we talked, we signed her up, and then she's here now. Does it work?
Yes.
I got a little team in Puerto Rico, same thing. I got a team in Texas, same thing, right? But you know, you have to go through the numbers. But how many of you guys would like to sponsor an extra 2-3 people a month in addition to what you're already doing?
Yes.
If you apply these things and you build relationships, okay, you gotta build relationships. You gotta deposit like an ATM, right? Like your bank. You gotta deposit with people. Don't go out there and pitch them. I go to my competitors all the time and I say, hey, how's it going? How's business, champ? And I just get that feedback. And what you do is you can make a list of people on Facebook. And you could call it prospects, you could call it SereniGy lookers, whatever you want to call it. And then when you click on that list, all those people come out. And you know the chat feature? Man, after I'm done with my CJMs at night, like at 10:30, 11, 12, midnight, depends what time I'm done, I open up my computer, I'm on the chat feature, and I send a bunch of messages, boom, 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 just saying hello. Then they start asking me, how's business? Well, I'm glad you asked. Business is good. And all these other coffee companies, what I do is, hey, listen, why don't you invite me to one of your coffees? I'll invite you to one of mine. I recruited so many people like that because the first thing they say is, wow, this coffee is good.
That's right.
Then what happens is, now I've got their interest. But see, I came off very nonchalant. Hey, invite me to one of your coffees, I'll invite you to one of mine. Let's hang out. I love to learn from each other. But see, these are people that I hadn't met if it wasn't for social media, for Facebook. And I could go on there and type on the search bar that company name or a big leader's name and add a bunch of people. What I recommend you guys do is go on your settings and hide your friends so nobody does that to you. Okay? That's one thing I definitely recommend. But definitely go out there. And then as far as Facebook goes, you know, to finish off, you know, let's all start playing team. Since most people are on Facebook, when you add a new distributor to your Facebook account, I mean to your business, make sure you add them on Facebook. Because when you add them on Facebook, you can tag them in a comment. And let's say it's Hector. Hey, welcome to the team, Hector Ortiz. And then the rest of your team comments, welcome Hector, you're in good hands, or whatever. Everybody's playing team. Imagine when the weight loss program comes on, people are losing 20, 30 pounds.
Wow.
And you put before and after pictures and you tag your distributors and everybody's on there. So everybody's playing team, and then it creates something that people want to be a part of. They're like, man, what's going on? What's up with this team? There are always a bunch of positive, upbeat people. I tell my people, listen, if you got a prospect that was semi-interested, haven't got started, send them as a suggestion to me on Facebook. I'll help you recruit them. So we're all playing team. Okay, and I'll get more into details on this kind of training later in the future. But if you do those simple little things and you brand yourself and you're aware of your picture and of the content that you're putting, do you look like a professional? Are you interesting to people? Who are you trying to attract? And if we look at that, we're going to see that the stuff that we posted, maybe it's not going to attract the people that we want. So that's why I have two profiles, a personal and a business profile. Why? Because the business one is dedicated to that. And I put pictures of my mom. Like I went to lunch with my mom last weekend. I posted a picture at lunch with my mother. So I do post some personal things, but I post motivational quotes and things like that. I'm excited. People always see like Ms. Nolan, they ask her, why she's so excited. People ask me that all the time. Why are you always so excited, upbeat? Okay? So you start attracting people like that, you build that relationship, then you could, but at the end of the day, guys, you still follow the system. If somebody's interested because of that internet marketing, you still ask the 4 questions. You still put them on the sizzle call. You still invite them to the CJM or to a webinar. Don't ever veer away from the system because anything outside of the system is not duplicatable. The system is there for a reason because it's duplicatable. If you don't follow a duplicatable system, you'll grow a little bit of a team, but it will never grow away from you. So you want to always follow the system. Okay, guys? I appreciate your time. Thank you.